Well, I think the teaching at that time and the teaching up to when he left, I would say pretty much dovetail. The things that I found most important were, number one, ahimsa, or non-harming. It seemed to really resonate with me that living lightly on the land and trying not to harm the environment, certainly trying not to harm other people or other creatures, not harming ourselves, that seemed a strong message that he gave. Maybe that's because that was the 60s and people were doing a lot of self-destructive things, so that might have been part of it. And then patience was another one that he taught us early on, and it has to do with forgiving ourselves and being tolerant of other people. It has to do with trying to find our habits, discover them in ourselves, and the particular afflictions we have, the particular emotions and so forth, and then trying to work on those, but being able to forgive yourself if you didn't get rid of a habit all at once and you had relapses. As I've said before, many people left because they couldn't forgive themselves, because they saw, they felt that if they couldn't do it perfectly, then they couldn't do it at all. We have to understand that we're Buddhists and we're bonding in a certain kind of community, but we're all just people, and we all have shortcomings, and we all have different things about us. So sometimes my difficulty and your difficulty rub together, and we have a very unhappy and unpleasant situation. And somehow you have to figure out, if you're going to stay on in the community, and especially in the monastic sangha, you have to figure out, what do I do about that? How do I manage to be in a community with people that rub me the wrong way? What do I do? And if you really want to stay, you figure out lots of ways to handle that.
So if I were to try to boil down what his teachings were that that spoke to me, one of them was patience. Being patient. Another one was don't get angry, which is not an easy one. And I'm still, what is this, 50 years later or something, still working on that one. But it all came, what I saw as I practiced, what it all came down to was the ego is always there. Always there. Whenever I would get angry at somebody, I would just see, I should say, I didn't just see, but over the course of years, you begin to see how your own ego, your own selfishness, your own eagerness for praise, your fear of blame is just always right there when you get angry. That's where, it's always there. And so that's always an opportunity every time it happens to take a step back and say, oh, that's not going to happen. That's not good. So not getting angry, being patient, and then the other thing you probably heard that Shifu would say to us was, everything's okay, no problem, don't worry. Now, if you take that in the context of the 60s and the 70s, it'd be easy to misinterpret that as, everything's fine, just lay back, no, and it wasn't that at all. We were still exhorted to work hard and to do our best, but to me, it was the ultimate paramita of giving fearlessness. Don't be afraid, because everything really is okay fundamentally. And even if you were going to worry about it, that's not going to help. That's not going to change anything. So that, to me, that's a profound teaching that I remember. I tell myself when things are hard, and I tell it to other people too. Everything's okay. We still have to do our best. We still have to work hard. And yes, things will be difficult. And yes, We are just ordinary people. Even those of us living at the city of 10,000 Buddhas, even people who have known Shifu for many years, we're still ordinary people. And that means that we still make mistakes, we hurt each other, we quarrel, we get jealous, we do all of those things. But we know that we have a path forward. And so, you know, Shifu always said, well, I can't remember how I would phrase this exactly, but this idea that when you turn the page, when you repent, when you're truly sorry for your offense, everything starts over again. All right, so don't go back. Don't play the bad tapes. Don't go back in your mind. I wish I had. If only I had. I should have. I could have. If only. That's just wasted energy. We have this precious gift of this time that's given to us, and so this is the time. I made that mistake. I'm going to move forward. I'm not going to make that, hopefully, make that mistake again. And if I do, I remember, I'm an ordinary person. I'm in an extraordinary place, and I'm capable of extraordinary things, but I'm still an ordinary person, and the people that are working with me and that are living with me are ordinary people too. And they have the same faults that I do.
无论做什么事情，你要放不下都是麻烦，你要放得下就不麻烦了。怎么叫放得下呢？就是我常常对你们讲的，行 OK， no problem， 就是这个。你要能这么样子，你也是变成妙人了。你听听呢，也就越听越妙了。你这样能改过自新，以前你无论犯什么罪业，都我愿意承担过来，我愿意替你们担负这个罪。因为以前你们不懂，你们造了罪业是不明白，没有学佛法。以后你们皈依佛法了之后，再不要造罪业了。你们大家以前所造的罪业我是绝对这个罪业都算我的。为什么呢？因为我没有教化明白你们。那么你皈依之后，不可以再造罪业了，要做种种的善事，不要做种种的恶事。你听得懂吗？我学会一句英文，这句英文呢，就是怎么样呢 ？I'm okay, no problem。就是一切事情怎么样都好，你骂我也好，打我也好，杀我也好，总而言之我是认账的。所以一切的人对我有什么不礼貌，我都是回光返照。